let's go in geographical order and move to Bulgaria and Teodora Georgieva-Mileva, Deputy Minister of Energy for the Government of Bulgaria.
So, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, dear ministers, representative European Commission, thank you for the invitation and for us bringing together the prestigious forum, being here at this prestigious forum at such an important moment of Europe. I'm particularly pleased to be here today for the first time in my new capacity as Deputy Minister of Bulgaria, and I approach these discussions with a strong sense of responsibility because the issues we are addressing are no longer technical, they are strategic. Let me start with a simple truth. Energy is not longer just a sectorial policy. It is a core element of security, it is a backbone of our economy, and it is a test of Europe's geopolitical maturity. So today we are not only talking about gas, LNG, or pipelines, we are talking about how Europe survives and adopts in a world of permanent crisis, and how we protect our citizens and our industries when markets are under extreme stress. After 2022, Europe's made historical choice. We moved away from a model anchored in a limited number of pipelines and suppliers. Whether we say it openly or not, Europe became, in a practice, an LNG continent. This shift delivered diversification, flexibility, and speed, but it also created a new reality. Europe's exposure is not only no longer concentrated on a single supplier, it is linked with a global energy cycle like shipping fleets, insurance markets, maritime routes, also checkpoints and geopolitical tension. And when a narrow corridor such as Strait of Hormuz accounts for around 20% of LNG trade, that is not a geopolitical detail. This strategical vulnerability instantly reflected in markets through risk premiums, logistic constraints, and price volatility. So we must be honest with ourselves. Energy independence in the 21st century does not mean the absence of dependencies. It means managing risks. The trend is clear. LNG now represents a substantial share of EU gas supply and imports. United States has consolidated its role among leading suppliers, while Russian gas has declined to significantly lower levels. This is not merely diversification, it is new structure of European energy security. For decades, European energy policy was guided primarily by efficiency and price. Today, we determine criterion is resilience. Resilience means the ability to withstand geopolitical shocks, preserve social stability, protect industry, and take decisions even when markets are under extreme stress. That requires a different mindset, not only technical and economical, but strategical and political. A mindset that includes willingness to assume responsibility, the courage to pursue solutions that may not be conventional, and the readiness to implement them when circumstances demand action. Because in a crisis, it is not those who analyze best who prevail, in those who can lead, decide, and deliver. When REPowerEU, the European Union, made more than a market adjustment, it made a choice for sovereignty. For the last time, Europe adopted a clear regulatory framework for gradual phase-out of Russian gas. This is not longer a political declaration. It is a legal and operational reality, and it requires a careful implementation. The question today is not whether the process will happen, but how it will be controlled, adopted, so that neither European nor natural energy security is compromised. This is why we are engaged in serious discussions on supply chain control, the role of custom authorities, certification of gas origin, and contractual framework through which capacity is booked. So, in other words, it is mutual crisis governance where objectives remain intact, but instruments are adopted with flexibility and strategical judgment. Southern Europe is no longer the end of the network, it is the front line of Europe's energy security. Greece has established itself as a strategic LNG gateway from the south, and between this southern entry point and the markets of Central and Eastern Europe stands Bulgaria. The geography is not destiny, but it is potential. And our responsibility is to turn potential into policy, coordination, and leadership. The Southern Gas Corridor remains a cornerstone of diversification. Today, over 40% of Bulgaria's gas supply comes from Azerbaijan, a partner that has proven its reliability in times of crisis. In the most challenging moments, the corridor delivers predictability, physical volumes, and instability. So my conclusion here is clear. Even if inconvenient for those who believe the market alone will always self-correct. In crisis, it is not spot markets that guarantee security, it is long-term partnership. Long-term contracts are not weakness, they are pragmatic instrument for risk hedging, predictability, and stability. Bulgaria's experience shows that when price shocks and volatility surge, well-structured long-term arrangements can protect consumers and keep industry competitive. This logic must now be extended to LNG. If LNG is to be the true pillar of energy security, not merely a spot instrument, Europe needs long-term LNG contracts with reliable partners and diversified pricing formula. A mix of indexation, hub-based pricing, and hybrid mechanism is not ideology, it's simply risk management. It allows us to diversify exposure, reduce volatility, and build resilience. In other words, energy security today requires a portfolio approach, not dependence on a single market. So in this respect is coming the crucial role of vertical gas corridor. At the center of this regional portfolio, it is having the place. This is not just an infrastructure project, it is a platform for security. It expands regional transit capacity to around 50%, links LNG entry points, such as Revituza and Alexandroupolis, to northern markets, spans more than 7 countries, and carries a potential of approximately 10 billion cubic meters per year. So combined with the Southern Corridor, it becomes a strategic LNG and gas platform in Southern and Central Europe, enabling northbound and southbound flows, creating redundancy and strengthening supply security in the entire continent. So, but infrastructure alone is not enough. Market design matters. This is why Bulgaria is actively advancing a platform for extended bundled capacity product with permanent character, complementing by annual and quarterly offerings. That's one of the few first weeks that we are in power. We organized a strategic dialogue where we were standing our American partners, European Union, also regulators. So this was like the first initiative just before the continuation of these super bundled products. So I think that this plays a role because we, by putting the proper people together, we are finding solutions. And this has been proven that it is working. And I think that the recent days we heard that there is a continuation of these products, and they're going to be not only on a monthly, but quarterly and yearly basis. So this is a very unique example of platform where the proper competitive tariffs are put in place in order to attract LNG from America. Bulgaria, let me be clear, Bulgaria is not any more passive transit country. We are initiator and convener. So as I mentioned, it is not a coincidence that strategic energy dialogues are increasingly taking place. We are providing a platform coordination, trust and long-term solutions, because leadership in times of crisis means that courage to make initiative and the readiness to act. So in today's work, success does not belong to those who are having the cheapest molecule. It belongs to those who manage access, build trust, set rules, and transform infrastructure into system of security. Our ambition is not simply to be a corridor. Our ambition is to deliver a change and to become an architect of Europe's energy security. Thank you very much.
Is it consistent to approach some of the questions that we're putting today about the urgency of providing and securing energy supplies for Europe? Is that consistent with the European focus on green energy? Are these two things working in concert, or are they contradictory? First to you, Teodora. Very briefly, you have 1 minute.
Okay. Energy transition and the regulations coming from European Union, we cannot say that they're not in a progress direction, but what is missing here is that we should never forget that in energy mix, the role of gas is substantial because we are talking about balancing. It shouldn't be undermined. and also crucial for energy security. This was a kind of missing in their policy because several years ago I was struggling to find some financing for gas infrastructure, which has been forbidden. So we are still trying. Projects like vertical corridors should be definitely supported because they are very much linked to energy security. And I think that we are going to, I could talk mostly also with ministers of different countries in order jointly to apply again to the European Union with the help of our American allies, because these are the momentum and we should use it to take more money for, we are not talking about huge money, we are talking about bottlenecks which are crucial. In Bulgaria, what we are doing, there are two crucial items. The one is going to make an immediate impact from 5 to 10 BCM, talking about the one Veterino bottleneck 65 kilometers, which is going to be ready by the end of the year, and the one for IGB, which soon is going to be launched as a procedure, and FID we are pushing to be taken. So what we are doing from this perspective is good enough, and I'm coming back to the long-term contracts, which are, I have also mentioned that are of crucial importance because this is also energy security, sovereignty. So in crisis situation like this, matters thinking and action now.
Okay, great. Thank you.